Welcome to Top Talkers, where we talk about issues that are on the minds of several people around the region, the country, the world today. Katherine Dines from Mid Mornings on Magic 100. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Dean Roberts from the Team 1200, CFRA, and anywhere else you want to go.
Sure, all over the place.
And Graham Richardson.
Yeah, I had a great time working the telethon with Graham.
Yeah,
Fun
fantastic
TV,
job there.
Yeah.
Graham Richardson, of course, from CTV News as well. Now, I want to talk about, of course, the new Pope, Francis. First time he's ever, that name's ever been chosen. Someone who is, seems to be somebody who's a little bit more humble, trying to be in touch with people on the ground level. This is something that a lot of people think of the Catholic Church, was the direction of the Catholic Church from the get-go. Now, the question is, what should his mandate be moving forward? A lot of Canadians seem to think that reform needs to happen and that's even more important than dealing with past issues, and we're talking about abuse issues that have run rampant at times through the Catholic Church. What are your thoughts on that, Katherine?
As a person who is christened Catholic and then raised Protestant,
okay,
I believe that the only way that any type of organization can survive is through evolution.
Okay.
And I mean, I've read that article, and it talked about, you know, how that was referring to a Canadian study, right?
Yes.
And they have to reflect the needs of the worldwide population. So I think it depends on the church's mandate and what they want to accomplish. A lot of churches are closing now in the Protestant faith. I'm not so familiar with the Catholic structure, but congregations are struggling to hold on. You have to address the wants of the people. You have to listen to those things, and I think modernization would be a way to possibly do that.
Right. It is. Should that be the first concern, Dean?
The only thing I can say is, growing up a Protestant, I had a lot of friends who went to, do they still call it separate school? They called us, no.
Not so much.
I don't know. In my day, it was elementary school or public school, and it was separate school if you were Catholic, right? That was. But growing up, the friends I had that went to separate school always complained about having to do things like go to confession after school, and some of the things they had to do during the how long? Actually, they complained how long the masses used to be.
Right.
You know, ours was an hour maybe. You know, at the Presbyterian Church, yet theirs was 2.5 hours. Things like, or midnight mass. Why mass was held at midnight? So there were a lot of complaints from those guys growing up that I knew, and I always got the impression that maybe the Catholic Church needed to modernize a little bit. Yeah.
Graham, you've been covering this story, and there are some indications that Pope Francis is a kind of a forward thinker, agrees with contraception in terms of like condoms to stop spread of disease, but on certain issues seems to be remaining conservative as well.
It depends on your definition of evolution. Depends on your not evolution. That's a bad church. The word we're talking about the Catholic Church. It depends on your definition of progressive and change.
Right.
It's a fair point that the North American, Western European view of where the church should go is vastly different from Latin America.
Right.
Right. And that's where Catholicism is exploding, and because of this Pope, will continue to explode. So, top of mind on the streets of, Caracas in Guatemala, in Mexico, is it same-sex marriage and women as priests? No, it's not.
Right.
It's poverty, it's inequality, it's fairness in society, it's hunger, it's those sorts of things. And so their perspective completely different. So I don't think you're going to see. I don't think you're going to see massive change in the direction that a lot of people, like Katherine was addressing, in North America would like to see.
Do you think, quick follow-up on that, do you believe that we'll see this be the Pope of the poor?
Yeah, I do. I think so. I think so. The way he addressed the crowd, some of the things that are coming out about how he lives.
Yeah.
And I was on CFRA yesterday, and we had a call from a woman from Guatemala who was just beside herself. And I've lived in Los Angeles, and the Latino population is so powerful now. The mayor of Los Angeles, Obama's election, now the Pope.
Right.
This is a tremendous moment for a huge population.
Yeah.
Jeff, you mentioned that this is the first Pope with the name Francis. Is that a big deal, the first name of a Pope? Is that something that...
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it's actually to do with poverty and humbleness, the name, right?
There are two Francises, I believe. I'm not up on this, but yes, he picked his name for symbolic reasons and a story to tell. So it matters.
Okay, let me ask you, and Graham talked about this, like alluded to it a little bit. Women as priests, is it time?
Well, I feel very outnumbered here, but I would.
Yes, it is.
I would say
we're
yes,
not outnumbered.
Yes.
I don't think.
Just heavy testosterone here, but yes, no. I mean, absolutely. I think that there are a lot of old ways of the church that they no longer suit modern society and then forward thinking. And I definitely.
I guess what you're saying is, should the church reflect the society which it serves?
Yeah, really, what I referred to before, the midnight masses and the old traditional things of the Catholic Church, I think should be updated a bit, and that would include female priests.
Yeah.
If it's no now, when is it yes? And if it's never yes, why is that? That's unacceptable to more than half the population of the world.
Right.
But what's interesting is Catholics, a lot of Catholics, would not like that and don't want that, men and women.
Interesting.
And so this is the balance.
Well, I mean, we're seeing some numbers talking about reform in the church, and I think some of them are thinking about at least allowing priests to marry. And would some of these decisions kind of pave the way for a less rocky road moving forward, do you believe? In terms of scandal and things that we've seen from the Catholic Church?
Personally, I feel that way. I mean, I understand the reasoning behind not allowing priests to marry. You're serving the people. That's going to be your main goal, but...
You are a human being, though.
You are a human being, and I think that's asking a lot.
Interesting. Well, we're out of time, unfortunately. I think this could go on for easily an hour, talk about this, and we'll be watching to see the first moves we've already seen him. He's quite a forward thinker in terms of social media. Pope Francis, it's so many things to keep track of, and as the days go on, keep it up to date with CTV News, CFRA, and throughout the news world.